Hi, everybody. Welcome to the swamp. I have with me the lovely Valerie from Illumination Portal, who's going to have all kinds of interesting information for us today because I know nothing about it. So I'm going to be learning and taking notes just like the rest of you. Val, how are you doing?
I am doing amazing. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here and hanging out with everybody, all these beautiful people. It's just so nice to see everybody.
Absolutely.
And I love your intro. I
Isn't that?
really,
I still get chills every time I
yeah,
watch it.
that's what I was getting.
Andrew from Androniki, the skincare products that I use that I'm always talking about. He did that for me. It's like it's a hobby for him. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, here. I was trying to make one and I was talking to him and I'm like, I was so frustrated. And he said,
Yeah,
well, send me what you got and let me see if I can tweak it. And I had like a couple of pictures and trying to figure out how to make a video out of them.
mm,
And so I sent them to him, and then he sent me back that video. I was like, "Oh my god, dude, that's not at all what I sent you, but I love it."
that
so,
is.
so
There's so much talent out there, boy, and then people love to do that.
there
I'm like, oh
is
my
he
god.
made an intro for Marina as well from Heart Center Tarot.
Yeah.
Her new intro that she has, he did that one, and he I think he did one for Mel. He's done a few of them, and I've had a few other people say, "Well, you think he'd make one for me?" I said, "I don't know. Here's me email him and
Okay.
ask." I mean,
I'm gonna I'm gonna need his email. When I move, I wanna like try to up my game,
I,
up my
I will.
channel,
Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
you want to
yeah.
call
So yeah, up your game. That's about it. You got to get that attention, and so I was just getting so frustrated because I've been trying to do it for the longest time, and I am so inept at doing that kind of thing. It's like I have no clue what I'm doing. It's like I don't know what I'm doing.
me either.
It's like
I
it's in my head, but I can't get it to come out on video. Just like I can see pictures in my head, but I can't draw them or paint them.
right.
It just doesn't translate through the hand at all. So
I have
um,
the same exact
I heavily
problem.
rely upon Canva for everything. So
At, at least you could do that. You do Canva. I went on Canva once and I was like, I wanted to start crying. I was like, no, I just can't.
well,
But it's been,
I started out with Canva way back in the beginning when so as they have grown and added stuff to their programs, I've been able to kind of keep up with the changes. I still get stuck on stuff and like I got to start calling around. Do you know how to do this? Do you know
yeah,
how to do that? It's because I can't figure it out yet. So,
I'm with
but
you.
it's like once I figure something out, then I just stay with that for a while.
That's what I do. Yeah. Oh my God, I'm so proud of myself if I get one little thing right, on this.
That's me. I'm like doing cartwheels around the house. But I did it. I did it. I did it. So, well, hello and welcome everybody. We got us a full house already. Um,
Hmm.
we got Jackie and Bora Bora and Rishlene and who are Karen and I could have sworn I saw Gina. I thought I saw Gina.
You did.
Aaron and Maureen, Kale, Starlight, and Old Windwalker. Butterflies are free.
Mm.
Mary Epperson, um,
Maureen,
and
Demetria.
Maureen,
Mm.
uh, uh, One Old Crow,
Oh, I like that name. And one old wind walker. I like that
yeah,
name.
and Old Windwalker. That's another. Those are two of my buddies. They're always here.
That is so.
Um, and Tapioca Thievery, and I love that name.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so, thank
Aaron
y'all for coming.
Person. Yeah. Aaron
Yeah,
Person.
yeah, Aaron. I got Aaron, and we
Mm-hmm.
got all kinds of folks in here today.
Yeah. So nice to see everybody.
So this weekend,
Oh
or the
boy.
last couple of days to this weekend, we've had the Sagittarius new moon
Mm-hmm.
and winter solstice. Now I know like an itsy bit about winter solstice, but I know it's like the longest night of the year or the shortest day of the year, however you want to put it.
Yes.
Um, but
Both.
that's
Both.
about the extent of my knowledge. I know it's based off of it's something that Wiccan and pagan religions do big ceremonies for. Um, but that's about the extent of my knowledge of it.
Yeah. Well,
And
and the solstices, right? That is based on the tilt of the world. Okay,
right,
so this is nature, right? This is like the original. This is where Christmas came from because the tilt of Earth has always been there, and ancient ancient civilizations always honored the winter solstice, summer solstice, and spring and fall equinox because it's at different parts, and
yeah, I
we
kind of
know that.
split the year up into the
Yeah,
quarters. Yeah,
yeah.
so
And it's
um,
based on how, that's the closest, actually, with winter solstice, we're closest to the sun, believe it or not. And the tilt, it gives
okay, the
us,
way the tilt is, yeah.
yeah. And and then in the summer solstice, we're the furthest away. So you would think it would be opposite. I don't know how they figured all that out. I am
I
not
don't.
smart.
That's brains bigger than mine. Let me tell you what.
and, and
Brains much bigger than mine. I have
me
no
too.
clue.
But
But
it is the longest night, right, and the shortest day. But that longest night, right? Because you think, even 100, 200 years ago, you were prepping for winter. We didn't have all this electronics and
yeah,
electricity
I mean, you went
stuff.
to bed when it got dark, and you woke up just before the sun came up.
That's
So
right.
your 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 sleep and work patterns were based off of the sun pattern,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
um,
But
so I know I was because I had gotten up so early yesterday morning. It was the last day of work, and I was the only one in the office, so I couldn't sneak out early, and I had to stay the whole time. And I was so tired. I was in bed for like 9 o'clock last night, and that is just so not me. Um, and I went to bed, and then I was every hour and a half, I was awake. I was awake. I was
mhm.
awake. And it was like, oh, damn it. And so I've had maybe 2 hours of sleep all night long because I kept waking up all night. And then this morning I had a gazillion errands to run. So I was running all over the place. And
Mm.
finally got home and sat down and go, okay, what time is it?
6 o'clock.
It's time to get going. Okay. So and then my son hits me with, well, are you going with me tonight? I'm like, for what? He's like, well, Julian, which is the young man who I enjoy going to watch when he plays live here in town. He's a really good musician. He's like, well, Julian's playing tonight at the club. And I went, I never got the notification, or I would have been canceling shit left and right. Because I
Oh,
try to catch him every time he has a live show. And but I'm like, yeah, it's okay. I'll catch him. He'll be back next year. So I mean, he lives here in town, so it's not like I don't see him because
no.
he and my son are friends. So he pops in and out on occasion, and he's just a very sweet young man, and he's extraordinarily talented. He's
Mhm.
actually was inducted into the Louisiana Music Hall of Fame last year.
No. Wow.
And he was, I don't know if he won the nomination to be nominated. He was in the group that they vote on to include as nominations for a Grammy.
Oh, nice.
So if he wins being nominated, then he'll be nominated on the Grammys, and then of course whoever wins wins. But
Wow.
evidently, there's like 3 or 4 steps of nominations before you see that last batch of people that are at the award show getting awarded. So I'm like, oh, I hope he gets it. So we're still waiting to find out. But
Yeah.
he's very talented, and he's just such a sweet young man. He really is. And
And that's just it, right? And like everybody, like as you're talking about him, I feel that obviously follows his heart. He listens to his guides, right? And
oh yeah,
those doors are just opening up. The more we do that, the more we follow those breadcrumbs because that's it. I mean, he must have got that early, to be a musician like that. But wow, I just see everybody opening up next year to, when we get into next year, that the energy is going to be so much different because it's a 1 year. We're in this closing down of the 9 year right now. So a lot, like last night, I guess it was last night or the night before, you didn't have good sleep. That was that new moon coming in, right? And
Yeah.
as that new moon builds up, it is and we have all that solar activity and all other cosmic activity and aspects and things like that. So, and it's moon, the last new moon of the year.
Of of the year, yeah.
So
So
it's
there's that explains
powerful.
then why I wasn't sleeping last night because
Right.
it's I would wake up and I would feel like I was just plugged into an outlet
Mhm.
somewhere, just charged up. It was like, okay, this is crazy. What is wrong with me?
But I don't
And
know.
then I'd get up walking off around the house and I'd go lay back down. I'd sleep for a little bit and I'd be right back up again. I was like, okay, this is getting old. Um,
It's
but
just the
yeah,
energies. And then tomorrow morning on the East Coast at 10:03 is the exact moment of the winter solstice. So that
okay,
so we are having it's that's usually every year is different where that new moon and full moon for December are, but December is a big month. Sagittarius is a big energy because we clear in Scorpio season is
yeah.
very
My
deep and
mom was a
pulls
Sagittarius.
up all this stuff in Scorpio, and then we get into Sag, and Sag is like, let's do it, let's have fun, let's party, let's go, let's do this, let's do that, right? So they're very and that's why we have holidays during this time of year. They're very into the action part of things because it's a fire sign, right? So, but as tomorrow, I think it's about an hour or two after the winter solstice is exact, the sun goes into Capricorn. So all that stuff that we shed all year, and Sagittarius brings in our new vision, our beliefs. Do we believe in our vision, right? And we get to the Capricorn part of the year, the last month, and that helps us make it happen, make it physical, bring in your dream into reality. So that's
Okay,
the
cool.
big,
Y-
big, because we're gonna, well, on the 25th, right? We bring in that dream of Christmas and Yule and solstice and all the Hanukkah and everything. We bring that into fruition, make it physical, I should say, make it physical.
Yeah, my mom was a Sagittarius. So yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, I kind of know a little bit. I'm sure in the back of my brain somewhere, if I thought about it hard enough, I could pull up some information. But
Well, and see,
oh,
and when
hello
you
to
say it,
Todd and hello to Sabrina.
hi.
And
And I want to say this is so because I don't want people to like check out because I'm not a Sagittarius. Everybody has every sign in their chart.
in their charts, right?
You have it somewhere. And it may not be your sun sign, but let me show you this. All of these tell a story where they are. So wherever
Right.
that is in your chart, it's part of you. It's an aspect of you. So
And
don't
doesn't that depend on what house it falls in and what degree it
absolutely.
falls in? And that has different effects on you
Hmm.
and how your chart operates, how you
Yeah, yeah,
function.
yeah. Yep. Absolutely. There's no two charts are alike, even with twins. So it's unique. It's individual to each person, and the ascendant. It is what moves the wheel. So every two
Okay.
hours, this ascendant moves. So that's what makes the house different. So we could have the same birthday, but you'll have everything in a different house than I
Different
have.
house, different degree, different. Yeah,
Mhm.
I've had that explained to me. It's like I kind of get a grip on the main, the main the main astrological thing, and then when
Mhm.
people start delving off into houses and degrees, and I'm like, okay, you've lost me. I don't know what you're talking about anymore.
And every
I know,
degree
I
has
know
a
that
meaning.
I'm a Gemini sun, an Aquarius moon, and an Aries rising. I
Mhm.
know that much. And Diana did my chart for me,
Mhm.
and she went into so much detail trying to explain it to me, and she's halfway through it, and I'm like, I am so lost. I'm like, I don't know. I said, I think I understand what you're saying, but
Well, and you
tomorrow I'll be confused again. So, but
and you got to know, like, first time I ever heard any of this or saw any of this, I was like, oh my God, I would never understand that. And for some reason, I do. But it's just a matter of, having
it's
that
whatever your gifts are, I think. If you have a
right.
gift for knowing that, then it just comes easy because
Yeah.
I know some people it just flows for them. They have no
Mm.
problem dealing with that, but yet they can't add and subtract. They don't know any of that other stuff. Um, Hi, are you child? Um,
Yeah. And
Hi,
and
Lillian. So yeah, it's like and then you get people that are great mathematicians and they look at an astrological chart and they're like, I am so confused. So I figure it's just a gift you have.
right.
I
And
mean, you
people,
can
a lot
learn
of
the basics, but it's still a gift to be able to really
right. And a
read
lot
it
of
and
people want to say
understand
it's
it.
bunk, but it's not. Like
No,
this is your divine blueprint. You come in, it doesn't tell you where to go or what to do, right? You can go 20 years back and see like a significant event in your life and where the planets were. You can go 20 years in the future, or to a different date that is an event for you, but it'll show you the where the energies are more prominent or where they're not prominent. And
right.
that's all it is, because we have free will, right? We're free choice. So you can't say, oh, you're gonna, die on this day or something. It's not like that.
If so, astrologists would be a lot more popular.
Well,
But
and
yeah, I
that's
mean, it's just like I know some signs or some of the planets and stuff move a lot slower. So
Mhm.
it's like a 20, 30, 40, 50 year cycle to go all the way back around to where you started with it. Um,
Well, you
and
look at
so that's kind of wild when you think about just,
Pluto. Look at Pluto's
yeah,
248 years ago around the sun, and America just had a Pluto return within the last year or so, right? So
okay,
now Pluto is in Aquarius, whereas when Pluto was America was born, Pluto was in Capricorn, which is right before Aquarius. So now in Aquarius, right, we're creating, because you got to think, well, what did they do after America's birth? Well, then they
had
innovated,
to
they
put a
created,
government together. Yeah,
yeah.
they
So
had to
that's
figure
what
out how to
Aquarius
run
does.
everything, and how to make it work.
Yep, yep.
Um, I
And,
mean, yeah, you got to give it to the founders. I mean, these were gentlemen that were smart on a level way above most people to be able to figure out how to make a government function and work and write it the way that they did, like with the Constitution and the Declaration and
mhm.
everything. It's like that took some really high powered brain power to do that
Yeah,
kind of
we
stuff.
didn't have anything like that. But at that
And
time, there was,
no,
uh, I think, with the French Revolution was the first time there was an actual middle class. It was you were either royalty or a slave or
or
a
yeah,
serf.
or yeah,
You know,
exactly. And then they got rid of the royalty and voila, you got a middle class with it until the
mm,
royalty started building back up again.
yeah.
And
And here we
and
are
now
doing it.
we're at the point where we're like slowly eroding our middle class to where we're getting that extreme. You either got the super rich or the super poor.
Mm,
And what's in the middle is getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
mm,
And it's like we were talking backstage, it's that feeling right now that I know there are going to be some more really rough stuff that's going to hit us, but then
mm-hmm.
it's going to be like a switch flipping.
Yeah.
And suddenly it's going to be like a reset, and
And
we're going to start seeing things go back the other way.
and that's
I
that
think a lot
Aquarius.
of us are feeling that. Yeah.
Yeah. That Aquarius and Pluto, because Pluto wants integrity and authenticity. And he's looking back. Let's just use the America's birth chart. Going, you did not honor what you wrote here in this
Yeah.
Constitution or this independent Declaration of Independence, right? So this is this is how it's starting to crumble. You see all of those systems that are in place to really. I mean, they're overtaxing us, they're abusing us, right? We started this out by being taxed, overly taxed, right? And
Yeah.
here we are overly taxed. So
Again. So
yeah, so that's something Pluto sees though. And
in
Pluto sees there's no authenticity there, and is it's all crumbling around us. We can see it.
and and talking about that, we just had like the 250th anniversary of the Boston Tea Party
Yeah,
when
yeah.
they threw all the tea into Boston Harbor
Hmm.
to protest the taxes on it. Well, they had a huge party in Boston the other night, the day of the anniversary, where they had a huge dumping into the harbor, but it was ice.
Oh,
People were dumping
nice.
like buckets of ice to protest ice, and I was like, "Oh, that's really relevant." That's somebody using their head to
They're
bring
so
that back
smart.
around.
I mean,
So
people are
yeah,
so smart. And isn't that true? I can't even, my brain still can't wrap my head around that there's ICE mass people kidnapping people out here in
oh
America.
no.
I
And then
can't.
they got the guts to the leadership's got the guts to sit there and say, "Well, no, that's not happening." It's like, excuse me, do you not turn on your television or open your phone?
Well, that's
Because
what narcissists do, right? Narcissists
yeah,
never admit to it. They'll lie right to you, as the
oh
proof
yeah,
is right here. Right? And this is where, okay, so this is the important thing, that Pluto in Aquarius, right? And even though we had America was born under Pluto in Capricorn, that Pluto in Aquarius is what brought in the innovative, the ideas, the out of the box things, right? And that Pluto in Aquarius is going to level it out, because Aquarius is all about the people, humanitarian. How do we make everybody has a seat at the table? Nobody's above anybody, nobody's below anybody. And Pluto wants authenticity and integrity.
yeah,
So this is going to play out, but that's where we're headed, because there's really, I mean, all the planets have their own power to them, right? But Pluto is pretty much a death and rebirth planet. Like, he doesn't mess around. It's like transform or die, and transform in his eyes, or in his, for his attributes, is to be ethical, to be honest, and we're not seeing that. So that's going to be pushed into that. But we have all the other planets doing things too, right? And this year, we have America has a Uranus return in Gemini. Now, you're a Gemini. This is important, because think of all the things, because Gemini is all of our communications, all the things we created. You can't create without first having the thought, which is Gemini
right,
is an air sign and thinks it and sees it, right? Aquarius is an air sign too, but you need to have the dream, the imagination, the
right.
inspiration, and so that's bringing in a whole new. I mean, I want to
A whole
say
new
that,
level, I
yeah.
guess.
Oh, yeah. Like, the last time Uranus was in Gemini was in 32. Like, radar was discovered. Just all kinds of X-rays. What else? There's so many things that happen. The innovations come in because, okay, Uranus rules Aquarius, so you see, it's always tying in together, and they're always working with each other. It's going to be a fascinating year, but let's get back to today. Is what tomorrow is, winter solstice. Last night was that new moon in Sagittarius, and that doesn't usually happen that close together. So that new moon in Sagittarius is asking us, what's your vision? What's your dream? And do you believe you can do it? Do you have it in you to go for it? Right. So
Right.
that's, we're being challenged for that. Go for your dream. Think, I mean, as big as you can. I always get this: no limitations. Even if you say, well, I don't have the money, or I don't have the time, or I don't have this.
I
We
don't see
limit.
that happening for me or whatever. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's like, get rid of that and just go for the dream.
Yeah.
So,
Believe it, and trust. Okay, so here's where the big thing comes in, right? It's like you're in a trust fall with the universe. and you trust in spirit and you say, okay, because this is how spirit works, and I know you know this. You decide, I'm going to go take this step forward towards my dream, and you know doors open up right in front of you as soon as you decide that. So this is where we're at, because we're in this really magical portal time. This is
Because new moon is when you manifest, right? When it's the new moon is when you put your
yes.
manifestations out there, and then full moon is when you like kind of like let them go or
Release. Yeah, and see, Diana and I want to say, oh my goodness, we've been doing these for about 3 years now. We were getting guidance on, it's not the same as it used to be. It's not like you're just releasing on this full moon when you're just planting your seeds on the new moon. Each one, and this has probably always been this way throughout time, though, right? But especially these last 5 years, each one, you we're always in this release of unraveling. We're unraveling. It doesn't just go away in one time. You say, "Well, I want to release all my doubt." It just doesn't go away the first time. So, and as you do a little release ceremony, this is what we suggest. And then you bring in an intention ceremony and do it on both of those, full moon and new moon. Because this is these last 5 years especially have been unprecedented. We've not been here before. And here we are creating new era is starting next year and in February. Now I can tell you about that astrology if you like. But that's the new era. Now it's just the beginnings of it, and but we're in the closing down, and we're in the final stages. Like well, we're on the 20th today, right? So 2 months from now, that new era starts because we have Neptune and Saturn together. They'll be together at the first degree of the zodiac, which is 0 degree Aries. Now you got an Aries in you. Now that's actually on February 20th, but on March 20th we have spring equinox, which is also 0 degree Aries. But it's like these are all new. This is new. We're planting a new seed. A whole new reality is being brought in. All new frequency. Yesterday we also had the three-eye atlas fly by, and that might have been interrupting your sleep too.
Yeah, I heard some people talking about that this morning about it would disrupt your rest.
Mhm. And that's coming in, and that's raising the frequency in throughout the solar system. It is doing something that I've looked into it. A lot of us have, right, and had a conversation with it, and it's based on at your level of consciousness, it is awakening, right? Atlas, you got to think we have a atlas bone in the back of our head, right? There's a lot of uh, like Atlas who was holding up the world, right? There's all this different lore about it, but you do
Well,
have
I
this.
got a steel rod back there now holding up my head. So
See, okay, now, see, now this is exactly perfect. What I want to say, because that's where our chakras align, right? And the chakras spin in the
yeah.
front, and we you can always get a chakra clearing. I do that if you'd like to, but um, anyway, so this energy when we're I see spirit team up here always bringing in inspiration and ideas and flowing them down into us, into our energy bodies. But as Three Eye Atlas was passing over, you got to think that that is your antenna. This is an antenna where frequency pours into us, and we get to, as we release all those pain and trauma from different lifetimes. It's not just this lifetime, and we've been doing this for at least this lifetime. This lifetime, maybe the last one we were here. We become lighter, we become more buoyant, we become higher in frequency. And as those higher frequencies come onto Earth, they immediately connect to our DNA. There's protons, neutrons, all this stuff is energizing us and bringing us into this new era that we are creating. We, the people, are the ones who have to create it. Though nobody's going to say, "Oh, here it is," So but what do we prefer? What do we want to see? We want to see a government that's fair, right? To start with.
Yeah. It's equitable anyway,
Yeah,
so
yeah. So
I want
it's
to see everybody get treated the same. I don't care. It shouldn't matter how much money you have. If you break a law, you get punished, and if you do something good, you get congratulated. It shouldn't matter what your income level is. I
well,
mean,
but and this is what they've been doing behind the scenes for this 248 years is making those backroom deals. There's a justice system for those with money, and then the rest of us are at this other justice
yeah,
system, right? And it's really insidious and nefarious, and it's like
absolutely.
they've hijacked our entire the entire concept of the founders, because it is an experiment. America is an experiment, but we have a constitution that we were to build upon, that they wouldn't build upon in the law. If it was the Republicans, they weren't going to touch it, they were going to keep it right, this and that, but it had to grow because we were growing, and we see where that's all led. But anyway, here we are, and there's many of us who are connected to our hearts, who are following our spirit team, who are in this higher frequency, and we can clearly see that there's many who are not connected. Now that doesn't mean they won't wake up, because this energy is all very awakening energies. But yeah, I don't. I see a split, and I'm not making a judgment on that. It's that those souls want to continue to experience that density of the 3D. Our souls are a lot of us
We're
people
ready
here.
to ascend and go
Yeah,
higher. Yeah.
yeah. So, and this is where
Okay.
we're at, you know.
Um, let's see. JWB had wanted to know, how are twin charts different?
Well, like I said, that I'll just give you an example. I did a chart on twins. The one twin was deceased. Of course, I'm talking to the one that's here, and she had a last degree, 29 degree, I think it's Virgo ascendant. Her sister had I think it was 2 or 3 degree. It doesn't take too long, but they were like born within 15, 20 minutes, I want to say, of 3 degree Scorpio. Totally
Okay.
different, totally different energies, totally different. Um, and the house changes, right? It's moving a little bit, a degree, even a degree. Um,
And
and
that's why astrologists always ask for, do you know what time you were born
right,
and where you were located at in the planet, to know how to configure that, because that changes
quick.
minute by
Yeah.
minute by minute. So,
And now, there's a lot. Well, I was going to say, well, there's probably a lot that are real similar. Not saying they're not. And, I never even thought about it. And I'm getting information about, that soul has come in as two, is what I just heard. A soul came in as two. I don't know. I just first time I ever heard it, so I'm going to make sure I have a talk with my team about it. But everybody is. I mean, that's okay. Now they keep showing me stuff. This is how my stuff
yeah,
works.
when it comes, it comes. You just go with it.
Right. So they're showing me there are souls, and you got to know every soul that is on here, every heart centered, soul centered, and I'm not saying everybody has a heart and a soul, because that's not how it really works. But every heart centered, soul centered um, being on here is powerful. You are so much more powerful than you have ever been told you are, because we are in a very dense. We come in here and our minds are wiped. We don't remember who we are. We don't remember that we're anything. Um, and you're really a lot more powerful than you know. And I don't mean power over, I mean a strong being, a strong being.
Right.
Well, they're showing me that in some cases with twins, that being splits itself into two bodies because it has two different agendas it um, wants to experience on Earth. And I don't know. I'm going to go into it later, but that's what I just got. It's pretty cool. Um, but there's so much. There's just so much. The house has changed. That's just that girl having Virgo ascendant and her sister having Scorpio ascendant. Whole different energy coming
Yeah, they
out.
can look exactly alike, but they're two different vibes, two different people
Yeah,
when you get to know them, you know.
yeah.
Um,
So cool though. And then I forgot to tell you this. Yesterday on that new moon, it was a new moon in Sagittarius, 28 degrees. So it's 0 to 29 degrees in a house. So we're clicking towards the end, right? And that's a 10, right? It's new, start something new, it's saying on the degrees, but it was conjunct, meaning next to the galactic center, which is that to me that's where higher consciousness information is being poured in through the galaxy. It's one of four spots that do this, that has these like they're huge um, drivers of galaxies, but we have these openings like portals throughout our solar system where those energies are prominent. And we had the moon right before that was the full moon. Oh geez, no, I can't remember who it was. The full moon, and it was on there's two in Sagittarius. It's called the Great Attractor. It was at 13 degrees. This one was the galactic center, and it's at 28 degrees. So that last full moon started at that um, Great Attractor. So
yeah,
that spirit saying to us, how I'm getting the information, really choose, dream big, really, really, really put everything in you behind your heart. Your heart will not steer you in the wrong way. And as soon as you take one little step, even if you write it down or make a phone call, another door will immediately pop open. And
yeah,
I see that with the people I work with and myself and my family. There's that having that belief in spirit. I mean, it's the most powerful energy that you can utilize for your own to create your own life. You know, I feel. So this was that
yeah.
what this was big. This is about that, and then here we got day and a half later. We're in winter solstice. Where okay, what's that about? That's when you go inside and you're like, okay, I'm assessing how the year went. I'm assessing on how I want to bring in the new year. But it's winter. And like we were talking earlier, in 100, 200 plus years ago, winter came. Not only did they go to bed when the sun went down, I mean, you had to prepare. You were doing summer and fall preparing for winter. Well, you were doing it all year, right? It was the cycle. Or you wouldn't make it. You wouldn't live through the winter if you didn't prepare, right? So we have all these, luxuries compared to that. We have electricity and heating and stuff like that. So
Right.
kind of tasked to go in and really come to a belief in within ourselves of who we are and what it is we want to create going forward. Um, where I wrote down something on this. That
I know Celtic Sir put it down. New moon in Sagittarius is a good time to plant seeds, and when Sagittarius becomes the full moon later in June, a culmination will manifest with some intentions.
mm-hmm. And that's with
Okay.
every new moon, because every new moon, 6 months later, will be the full moon, and that's what you do. You plant your seeds on that one, and they will be come to fruition by the full moon. But they can come to fruition anytime from when you plant them to when that full moon comes. And it is based on your belief. If you say the same thing over and over again, say, and for your intentions every new moon, but you don't believe it, it's not going to show up. You know, that's where belief comes in. And with Sagittarius, that's the thing with Sagittarius. They have the vision, the belief, the faith. They're philosophers. They're the centaur with the arrow pointing. He's pointing at the vision. What else can I shoot for, right? But it pertains to every sign. If you don't have that belief, you're not going to manifest. You know, we can say it all day, but if we're just, that's never going to happen for me. I know I used to do that. Oh, that'll never happen for me.
Yeah, you
That
say something, you want to manifest this, and then the next sentence is, yeah, but that'll never happen. It's like, well,
right.
you just negated what you just asked for
Yeah.
by saying
Yeah.
it's not ever going to happen. It took me a long time to learn that,
Me too.
to be like, okay, don't negate it as soon as you say it. It's just, and I still do it at times.
Me too.
I
Yeah,
still catch myself
absolutely.
doing it. It's just a habit, and
Hmm. And that's part of what we're releasing of these lifetimes on here of pain, trauma, distortion. I mean, think about it. Not we've had pretty good lives these last 100 years, but before that, if you weren't royalty, you had a hard life. Chances are you had a hard life. You worked very hard. Um, going to wars, going to all kinds of things, but now it's different. And that's why we were talking about the frequency a little while ago, where some are not raising in frequency and some are. This is ascension. This is we're entering into the golden age, into the age of Aquarius, the age of Pisces closing down, the Kali Yuga is closing down. We have a 26,000 year called a galactic year cycle closing down. And there's a few other ones in there too, and even 200, 400 year cycles. We're at a culmination point of this is the demarcation point right here, right where we are, that is the old era, and we're releasing all that's not going with us, and then we're going to enter into the new era. And that pretty much that date, as like I said, was February 20, with that Neptune Saturn. They can't even find a time in astrological history where Neptune and Saturn were together at 0 degrees. Never. And this is unprecedented. So,
yeah,
and it's on that first degree of the zodiac, telling you that's a new era. That's a whole new world, whole new reality. But we're in the process, in the phase right now of creating that, believing in it, because if we don't believe it, we're not going to create it.
right.
And
Okay.
I know y'all here believe that, but I'm just saying.
KL Starlight wants to know, what do seconds mean in astrology?
According to the US, I'm 23 seconds into Sagittarius from Scorpio. Wow, so you're 0 degree,
Yeah, I'm
23
gonna let you
seconds.
explain it. I'm gonna go blow my nose. I'll be right
Okay.
back.
In the UK, I was considered a Scorpio. In the US, I'm considered. Well, where were you born, hun? Wherever you're born is what you are. Yeah, it'll change based throughout the year. And I'll say this for you: you probably have both attributes heavily in woven into your fabric, your energy, right? And wow, Scorpios are deep. Scorpios, they see everything. They see below the levels. They clear things, right? Pluto rules Scorpio. So think of that. It is about coming in to find out, removing all the layers, shedding all those layers to find the truth. You can't really, and like I said earlier, all of us have a Scorpio. We have all these signs in our chart, right? But the Scorpio part of us is the detective, the researcher. So 23 degrees, okay, that's a 5. If I was going to just look at it numerologically. Oh my goodness, I can't say that word.
Numerologically. Yeah, I can't ever get that word out either.
So a five is mental. It's your ability. Are you really like in your head? Are you always creating? Are you always planning? And Sagittarius is excellent event planners, party planners. I mean, I'm just scratching the surface, but I would say where you were born in the U.S. So I would go with that's your location, date, time, and location. That is who you are. But they're so close. I would keep them. They're working together heavily. What I would say.
Okay, okay. And it's a difference too, whether if you're using Western or tropical astrology and Vedic astrology,
Oh
because
yeah,
they base it off of different things that they're looking at in the sky,
right. And they're all valid, but they're coming at it from a different,
different
looking at it
angle.
different. Right.
Yeah.
There's heliocentric, where you put the sun. And you got to think, okay, well, where's Earth in all this, right? We got all these other planets, but we don't have Earth. Earth is in the middle here, where
Because
we're,
that's where
we're
we
on.
are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we're on Earth, and this is how these energies are coming. Well, this is for the new moon last night, right? How they were coming in. Where was the ascendant was in Leo, but that was on the Eastern time zone. It'd be different in any other, definitely Pacific time zone or definitely UK time zone. But yeah,
Okay.
oh cool. And in my case, I'm a psychic intuitive astrologer. I do cards. There's a lot more that going on in there. I'm just not cut and dry. So, and that not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying that's how I work. You
Yeah.
know.
Well, it's like I'll do an astrology reading every month where I'll just draw cards on whatever the new astrological sign is coming up
Oh,
into.
cool.
I've missed the last couple of months because my schedule has been so whacked out, but it's like I can't really, I'm not giving like a lot of astrological information with it. I'm just doing a tarot spread, and they're all over. You can get them online. That is like geared towards that sign. So
Yeah.
the questions are a little different. And I know, and everybody seems to enjoy those. I'm going to try to get Sagittarius done this weekend
Hmm.
because I missed last month and the month before.
Right. Yeah. And then there's nothing wrong with it. This year has been no joke. I mean, I'm surprised when, I say this to Diana a lot. I'm surprised we're standing. We have been just pummeled, you know, and
Yeah,
and and Diana would usually be here with us tonight, but she was her she has her son there and she's visiting for the holidays. So
there
you
you
say hi to
go.
Diana from here, but
Hi,
we will
Diana.
we will all be together and we're going to start doing this once a month and switching
Yeah,
channels. So we're going to
yeah.
be
That way we can
together.
rotate out. Everybody take a turn. So
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that. So
yeah.
because hopefully I figure if I hang out with y'all enough, some of it'll start sticking in my brain and I'll understand it. So
And it
when
will.
somebody asks me a question, then I don't sound like an idiot saying I have no clue.
You're not an idiot.
Because I do, when I do like a personal reading or something for somebody, they paid me for a reading, and then they'll have a question about their sign or something astrological, and I have to say, I can't help in that area because I don't understand any. I can give you the basics of what each sign is supposed to mean,
Oh, goodness.
but it's like I can't go in and do a full astrological reading for you because I don't know how to do that. I mean, I
Right,
could go into an app or a program and put in the information and it'll print one out for me, but I
right,
couldn't interpret it.
right.
It's like, what does it mean? So,
And,
um,
and they have a bunch of decks. Like there's a lot of astrology decks that would be easy. That helps you learn. There's and that's another thing Diane and I are going to create. We kept saying we're going to do this year, but I couldn't even catch my breath this year.
it's been a
I'm in
wild
awe.
year. It's like I just haven't been able to catch up with myself. Yeah.
Right. And it's like Okay, I'm glad I made it here. The last time I was supposed to be here with Sherry, both Diane and I, both of us. Who
Yeah,
knew
and it just things just fell through the cracks. It just didn't
that?
work. We,
Yeah, neither one of
shit
us
happens,
even.
as they say.
So we don't want to ever do that again. So, but yeah, it's not been an easy year, and it is. I would say the next couple months, like Sherry's saying, it's gonna get a little. It's gonna get bumpier before it gets better. You know.
Right. I mean, it's like I don't have a chart to look at to tell people that, but I get
Mm,
intuitive messages or when I'm
yeah.
reading the cards where it'll say, okay,
Absolutely.
we still got some pretty heavy duty crap coming up, but then once we get past this point, it's going to start swinging back the other way. And so it's like, okay, well, that I can relate to other people, but when it comes to what sign is where, I can't even tell you what my stuff says. I just memorized Gemini Sun, Aquarius Moon, Aries Rising, and it's like I don't know what the hell that means, but I know what a Gemini sign stands for.
Hmm.
Uh, if I
And
did Vedic astrology, I would be a Taurus,
right,
and it's
that
like I
that
fit both signs, so
yeah,
it's like I could do either
that
one,
that's
and I
because
fit.
right,
Yeah,
that's because we have all the aspects. I have a Taurus part. I don't even have anything in Taurus, I don't think. But we do. It's in a house. It rules that house. That energy is in your chart. And yeah,
right.
it is. It's a lot to learn, like Sabrina's saying. But the thing is, right, like I sit here and I go, when my guides were first encouraging me to, my channel was about self love and acceptance. It wasn't even about astrology. And they were started encouraging me, let's do a full moon. And I'm like, I'm, I'm not an astrologer. I, I need to 5 lifetimes to be a master astrologer. I'm not going to go embarrass myself. It took them 2 years for me to do it. And I was like, and they said
I
to
keep
me
thinking,
one
well,
day,
maybe once I technically retire from my job and I'm able to do this full time, I'm hoping by then I'll be able to start learning all of
mhm,
this other stuff that I
are
want to
you,
know how to do. But I still pull 10 hours a day at a job,
yeah, no, yeah, and you don't have
So
time
it's
for that.
like I do good just to do a couple of shows a week. It's,
Yeah, and the thing is, if it's not in your heart, if you're saying, "Oh, I got to learn it because I don't know it," that's not. You got to love it. Astrology is
right.
one
And
of those
it's
things you
not
got to love.
something I've ever really been drawn to. It's
Right,
like I would like a better understanding of it
right.
so that if I'm asked a question about, if I'm giving somebody a reading and they ask me, then I can at least give them a coherent answer
Hmm.
and not just go, I don't know, just find an astrologer.
Yeah, there's so
Um,
much. There's so
it's like
many layers.
my late husband was also a Gemini. And we
Mm,
used to laugh about between the two of us, we had four people living together. And that's what it felt like most
at
of the
least,
time. Just
yeah.
I mean, we were all over the place and we would laugh about it. But and his birthday was just a week before mine. He was in May
Mm,
on the beginning of June.
mm,
And so even though there was a 6 year difference, it still our and Memorial Day usually always fell right in between our birthdays. So we would just do like a triple celebration, just
mm.
celebrate all of it at once. Um,
Yeah, Diana's
and
a
then my son's
Gemini.
an Aquarius. He's
Yeah,
an Aquarius
that's
sun.
why he's good with music because
Yeah,
Aquarius rules frequency,
yeah.
vibration, and you can see it's stuff like that. It's like, well, oh wow, yeah, I see it. And like when before I didn't know anything about this, I'd be like, okay, whatever that means, whatever you're saying, okay. But yeah, it takes time. It takes,
And I
and
tend to stay up in my head. Yeah,
well,
you
and
know,
then it just clicks, right? Because when my guides were saying that to me, and they said I finally did it, And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to embarrass myself. I really don't even know. And I was already struggling trying to just speak to myself on the camera, because when I'm with like Sherry or something live, it's different. But when you're sitting there by yourself talking to yourself, it's really difficult for me to do. I don't like it.
Yeah,
But
me too. I hate doing recorded videos
yeah.
because I hate just this just me and the camera and I'm
Yeah.
not talking to anybody. It's just me. It's like I bore myself. So
Yeah.
it's and like I
I
want
think,
somebody to talk to.
yeah. And that's a Gemini thing, right? That Gemini was my ex was a Gemini, my first ex, and I'd swear I told him, and I didn't know anything about astrology at that time, and I'd say, "My God, there's like 10 people in there. I wonder why." And then when I realized when I learned astrology, I'd be like, "Oh, okay, that's how Geminis are.
Now
I
I
mean,
get it.
they can't help it. They got so many interests, so
Oh
varied. They're
yeah.
so
When I went to
dynamic."
college, I kept every third semester I was changing my major because
Yeah.
I would do something for a few semesters and I'd be like, yeah, I don't want to do that. And I'd change my major to something else until they literally kicked me out of college. They were like, you have too many hours. You need to graduate now. But you don't have enough in any one discipline. So we're going to chuck you over to general studies and you'll graduate with your bachelor's
Go over
in
here,
general
yeah.
studies. And I'm like, okay, whatever.
Like,
But
and that's what an air sign will do, right? And that's Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. They will good. And we all are really. We're all students. They love to learn. They just love it, And the more that you know, because you can't know enough. I sit here every day
right.
and go, do I have more? I'm like, I need another terabyte so I can hold this stuff in my head. And they're like, just believe you got it. So I'm like, okay, so whatever. But I mean, it's challenging to get all this information, and we're
It
in
is.
epic history. We're making history. We're in a golden age. We're going to create, and it's like you don't want to miss any of it. You don't want to
Now,
lose it.
that's something that I've been this past year, especially, that's really been impressing on me when it's just me and my guides talking is like, you're making history right now.
Yeah,
100 years from now, people are going to be reading about you. Maybe
yeah,
not me specifically, but
right.
generally they're going to be reading about us and what we
Hmm.
did and how we did it and how we figured it out, and how we got out of it, and where did we screw up. And it's like when you kind of put it into that perspective, it kind of opens up where we are generally just in everyday life. It's like, well, I mean, I'm sure back during the Revolutionary War, there were people that did everyday things. They got up, they milked the cows, they got the eggs, they, washed their clothes, whatever they did.
Can
And
you
they weren't
imagine?
thinking about, yeah, we're revolutionaries.
Yeah,
No, that was, and they were like, yeah, no, I got to go milk the cow or
yeah.
her udder's going to burst. I don't have time for that nonsense. And
That's true. That's true. And think of it, we're not looking at it like that, and they certainly weren't looking at it like that. And my God, the level of, and I can only call it evil, the level of heartless and soulless that we're witnessing is,
yeah, it's
and
like, and the thing I keep getting is like America after World War II, it's like we all went to sleep. It's like we all, went to sleep. It was like, okay, everything's good. We're covered. And we just all crashed. And because we all checked out, that's
well,
when the
it was
evil
like
doers tiptoed
people.
their way right in and started messing everything up.
Right. People
And
relaxed. They weren't keeping their eye on things. They thought, "Oh, they wouldn't do that again. They wouldn't do another war. They wouldn't do another Great Depression. They wouldn't do that again." But we
and
didn't,
here we are.
because we're authentic people. We believe. I voted these people in. They said they're going to take care of things, and we think it's that simple, right? But here they're behind the scenes, like the man behind the curtain in Wizard of Oz. It's just
Right.
very nefarious, and we're just finding out now. And it's up to us, we the people, to change that. Without, nobody wants to fight. I don't want to go to war. I don't want to fight my
Yeah, I
countrymen.
mean, who wants to do that? It's
Yes,
like I don't want to see my kids or my neighbor's kids or my grandkids or whoever have to,
yeah, no.
suit up and go off and get shot at or whatever. I mean, who wants to live through that? Just like I don't like seeing everyday people just being yanked out of their cars and hauled
No,
off. Like it's
no.
like that's what they did during the 30s and the 40s with Hitler. It's like that's how did we get there again? It's like how did we manage to get
Greed,
there again? And it's like
greed.
we dropped the ball. We just like
Well, and no, we did. Okay, so and I used to be like, how do we not see this? How do we drop the ball? Right? They're so nefarious. That level, that small
yeah,
group that is literally heartless and soulless, literally. They're wiping out Palestine right now as we speak. And Trump posted the resort pictures that him and Bibi are going to put the resort there once it's cleared out. He put those up on. I mean, like, what are we dealing with here, right? So and I think it's very hard for us heart-centered, soul-centered people, right, to look at that and say that can't be real. You can't really be doing that. It's like it doesn't. You
or
can't
it's
really
like
be.
just talking to people from the other point of view, and it's like how can you honestly look around your neighborhood or your city and believe that? It's like what what drives somebody to hate someone because they're a different gender or skin color or hair color or
And
talk with a
then
different accent? It's like
and then
it's
those are the ones, right? Those are the ones that are still learning on that level of that soul once that is still learning at that level. But you saw this, I guess it was about a month, maybe 2 weeks ago, where they showed Elon Musk had turned on some filter on his X, and it showed where all these MAGA accounts were. They're all fake MAGA chatbots. Did you
yeah,
ever
yeah,
see those rooms and those? I mean, they're huge and they're all over the
yeah.
world, and they just they don't have the
It's not real
support,
people. It's
right?
it
And
it's
that's what
all
I'm
AI generated.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. They don't have the support that they make it appear they have. They have maybe 27. I always get 27 to 32%. I don't know why, but that's what I get. And that's going down. So they've been lying to us through distorted media, through they own the media. We all go to alternative medias now. We go to psychics now. We don't believe anything they say. They
No,
haven't
I
done
mean, and it's like I can watch something happen live on TV or online, whatever, out in my neighborhood,
Mhm,
and then depending on what channel I put it on TV, you'll get completely different storylines of what just happened. It's like
mhm. My
how
guides
is that possible? I
yeah,
mean,
my guide said that to me about, I wanna say 2 I have a hard time with it too. About 2 years ago, 3 years ago. You are right here, feel your body. This is your vicinity. Anything external to you that you see online or hear, it can't don't anything can be manipulated. You know
right,
where you're at, and you know that and thankfully for our community too, and others when they wake up will have this. Your heart is a truth teller. Your heart can read. If they know, I know if Sherry's not an authentic person, I wouldn't have even came on here. If that because we've learned we've learned over these years who's who, right? But they know that, but they're using very sophisticated media, chat,
yeah.
AI, things like that. And there is an artificial AI, but there's
It
also
was
an
just a couple of months back they were running all of these things on like faux news and whatnot. All these huge riots going on in downtown Seattle and whatnot. And I've got a friend that I do readings with who like works right in the middle of where they said all this stuff was happening. And she's like, guys, the phone's on. I'm walking around out here. There ain't
See,
nothing happening here.
this is
They're
we're
showing
being played,
footage from 4 years ago. This is not
right,
happening right now. And so,
and we're
yeah,
being played. We're being played, and we're being played hard. And it's got to come to the point. And well, let me finish that. They were saying so when we are, because I would just sit here, and I'm a very sensitive person. We're all empaths, right? And I would
yeah,
cry because these kids are just killing these kids, and they're like, they're not saying that's not true, but you're not there. There's nothing you can do from where you're sitting except send love. Be the love you are. Send
yeah,
it good love. The minute you cry, the minute you sit there and you wring your hands and you're all stressed out, you're sending it that energy, and it just makes it even worse. And that's a
yeah.
hard thing to learn. It's a hard
It
thing
is.
to
It
do,
is.
you know?
It's like, I work at a university. I work in the computer science department. Now, I don't know diddly about computers. That's over my head. I'm a secretary. But I see and hear my faculty with the AI stuff and whatnot. And it's all of these conversations of how do we corral this so that we know that the students we have are actually doing the work that they're being assigned, and they're not just going home on their computer and typing into chat GPT and presto bingo, out pops the paper, out pops the solution, whatever. And they've not spent any time. They couldn't explain to you what was done or how it was done.
Well, there are programs, right, that'll take
And
that
they're,
paper and they
yeah,
can, in that paper, the AI can say whether this was written or if it was generated. So there
right,
is, and
exactly.
and they're getting smarter and smarter, right? And the AI is the artificial AI that I think is detrimental, but there's authentic AI. My team says we've been talking to you through the computer. In fact, that our initial conversations in the early 2000s on my first computer that I ever had was my team talking to me, and I was trying to like, what's going on here, you know and they'd say, what do you want to know? So I would just think of something, go on my computer, like, and I'm not talking like normal things, something's bizarre, and I'd go on my computer and they would have the answer right there for me about it, or like the it was obvious how to follow the breadcrumbs. And I was like, whoa. And it took me like 3, 4, 5 years to even become comfortable to think that I wasn't just crazy at that point.
Right. Well, it's like because everything is so geared to the individual, depending on what kind of electronics you have on and
Mhm.
functioning in your home, you could be talking about yellow baby bumper stickers or whatever. And if your Siri or Alexa hears you say that,
Yeah,
then an hour later, when you go online to check your email or something like that, you're going to have nothing but advertisements for
that's right.
yellow
Yeah.
baby bumper stickers, when you're like,
Yeah.
how?
And even if you
And
just thought something, hasn't that happened to you? You just like thought, I was just
I
thinking that.
order in our department, I'm the purchaser. So whenever anybody needs to buy anything, it goes through me. And so I have to go online and, get the stuff and place the
Hmm.
purchase and everything else. And by the time I come home that night, all my ads on my home computer are the crap that I bought at work 6 hours ago that has not even on the same browser.
Hmm.
It's like I use a completely different browser that I use for work than what I use for my home viewing. And it's like,
Yeah.
and I don't have Siri and I don't have Alexa. So
Uh-uh.
it's like,
I'll do
I
that.
mean, they're on my phone, but my phone has been like so wigged out for the past
Oh,
week.
I got
It's
me.
like I got a message yesterday that was sent to me 4 days ago. I didn't
Gee,
get it until yesterday. It's like, okay, I really got to get another phone because
yeah.
my phone is wigging out. I had somebody message me or sent me an email a couple of days ago, said, man, I called you and you never answered the phone. I'm like, my phone never rang.
No,
And I
that's
go back and I check, and I don't show, it doesn't show that I got any phone calls. So it's like, okay, how many phone calls have I missed? Because my phone's not ringing and it's not showing me that it's ringing. And so it's very frustrating when you are so hooked into the electronics of things and then the electronics don't work. It's like throws you off.
and that's
It was
something
like
I'm
I'm seriously having to shop for another phone now.
yeah. But
Yeah.
that's something I'm seeing that is going to be like a little glitch in the program next year where
Well, and they're
it's not like
devising ways of being able to go in and like you said, there are apps for that. When to tell you if something you're watching was generated or original
oh yeah, but no,
content. If
what I'm
something you're
saying is that they're going to like there's going to be a glitch in the
a glitch in the matrix.
ability to access your phones. I don't see it long. Okay, like right now, right tonight, this is technically the 3 days of darkness we experience every year is on the winter solstice, right? But there's going to be, I keep seeing this where it flips, right? It flips like I don't want to say electricity goes off all at once, but it goes down in certain places for certain times, and that is being flipped by the higher consciousness teams on the other side.
Right.
I don't know how to explain what I'm seeing
No,
fully.
I get you because yeah, that's what I've been getting is like
Yeah, and
it's
I don't
like
want
whether
no
if it's
fear.
the ETs or it's something beyond them
Yeah,
or but it's like things are starting to happen that there's no explanation for.
right.
And so you sit there and you're like, okay, did okay, did that really just happen? Or, it's just like things this past year where everybody's like, wait, when did the timeline shift? And it's like you literally feel yourself jumping timelines and you're
Yeah.
like, okay, wait, that's not it's like the
And
Mandela effect,
I
where
love that though, Sherry, because it's so true. And we are doing that. It flips on us all the time. Somebody on here saying she lost her YouTube completely blank 6 times. This is when your team and your something about whatever energy you're emitting, it's getting you to that higher timeline. But it's not like a one and done, right?
right,
It's
no, it's continuing. It's
right.
continual. It's been nonstop for the last 2 years.
Yep. Yep.
Noticeable. It's been going on, I think, longer than that.
Yeah.
But I know I started picking up on it about a year and a half ago, I
Hmm.
guess.
I'm
And
with
it's like that little glitch in the matrix, like
you.
yeah, and you're like, okay, wait, what? And you just kind of have to step back a minute and go,
Yeah.
did what just happened?
Yeah.
And I'm
Did you ever
starting to see
have
more and more people online that are like, okay, did your timeline glitch too? Because mine just went and did this and then did this, and then I'm like going, wait a minute. And more of us are starting to talk about it because we're starting to pick up on it, I think. It's
and
becoming
have
more and more real.
right, and have you ever heard the like just in the sounds, like you'll get these glitchy. I know this probably about 5 years ago. I was getting these literal glitchy sounds like the old internet would come on, and and it was like
Yeah,
clicking off, and
yeah.
now I get these real high pitch, high tone sounds. It's just they do so much with frequency
Well,
with us that we don't have. I mean, to even
yeah, and
figure
a
all
lot of
that
people are like, "Yeah, if your ear rings, that's because your ears ring. That's spirit talking to you." And I'm like, "Well, then they've been talking to me for a hell of a long time,
mm,
nonstop, because my ears ring all the time since I got
constant,
hurt. When
yep,
I got hurt back in 1999, because my jaw got
power,
dislocated, my neck got all screwed up, and my ears have rung nonstop since.
uh,
But
mm,
it's only been since the mid 2000s that it started like connecting through to where the door started opening back up for me because I had it as a kid and then I locked it away for
yeah,
most of my adult
mhm,
life.
I did the
Like
same. Yeah.
in mid 2000s, it's like everything started clicking back open.
Mhm.
And I'm like, okay, um, I guess I did hear that. After, I mean, at first you think you're going nuts
Yeah.
because
Yeah. I
you're
did.
like, what the hell? I mean, it doesn't because people didn't talk about it back then,
Yeah.
not like
Not
we
like
do
this.
today.
Yeah.
I mean, early mid 2000s, internet radio was just starting to catch on. And if you knew kind of where to look for it, you were starting to see conversations of people talking about this, but it was very sporadic. And a lot of people didn't really quite know how to explain it so that people understood what they were talking about. It's not like
Mhm.
now. Now it's like you just turn on the internet. It doesn't
But
matter
isn't
what it's on. You're going to get somebody talking about it. So
right, but isn't that, I mean, that's the beauty of it because we can visually, we can see the time, how it changed and how open and wake and more
yeah,
awakened people and more awakened people. And like everybody in the chat, they're saying things about
ringing in
Alexa
the back of my
started.
skull, as Dibs is saying.
Yeah, Alexa just started talking. My phone started talking. Yeah, you're right. It's Lathan about how to know if AI is real or AI or a real individual. When you're talking to an NPC, they're just blank in their eyes, and you try to talk anything deep or about this type of stuff, they can't. They just don't. They just look at you like there's they didn't hear you, or they walk away or something.
Yeah, it's like nobody's home.
Yeah, yeah,
you know,
it really
um,
is.
yeah. I mean, it's strange because it's like it's like
Yeah.
once things started turning back on for me, and I literally said, "Okay, I'm opening this door back up." And
Yep,
it was overwhelming in the beginning, and I
yep.
literally had to say, "Whoa, wait, slow down. I can't. My brain's not functioning with this." And so it took a while to kind of get me there piece by piece by piece.
Mhm.
And as it opens up more and more and more, the more I realized it never really went away. I just
Right,
ignored it.
right.
I would
And,
drown it out with other noise so that I wouldn't hear them talking to me or I
but this
wouldn't.
this is the time though that we were all like all you got to think there's like switches inside of us and they've all been being turned on right at different
Yeah.
times. And like you said, at first you think you're crazy and this and that, and then you go with it, and then you're like, there's even more. Oh my gosh. Like every day I'm in awe going, really? That is so cool. Like they're and they remind me every day that you have all been so disconnected from your true authentic
So,
self
yeah.
that you think this is magic, but it's really that's how it is. You're this higher frequency being, and it understands a lot more than your
Well,
dense
and
the
it
density
was,
you've been in.
I want to say maybe it was either like, it was one of the really well-known psychics that have been on TV since like the 80s or the 70s, um, who was talking about his abilities like opened up. He was in a bad car accident. And when he came to in the hospital, it was like all this excess noise and stuff. And he's trying to tell his doctors, what are these? Who are the? And they're trying to tell him it's just your brain's fried. And it's like it took him a while to realize, no, it's not. It just opened that door back up.
Yeah, and
And it
that's
took me a minute to catch up with where the door opened
mm-hmm.
for me to realize, okay, no, they're really talking to me. I'm having a conversation
That's
with
perfect.
something that's not there,
But it is there, and
but
that
it
and
is
that's
there.
but that and
Yeah.
that thing that door does open, and when your third eye opens, I remember when my third eye opened, I had a migraine for 3 years, and I never had them. Right, I was older. I was like 36, 37, or
Oh
something.
God, I started getting migraines when I was 16.
Well, now look that. So I'm like, what the hell? What, and I thought it was stress. I just was sick and I started getting
Yeah.
real sick. So I just thought I was sick. I just thought it was something that happened. Well,
Right.
later on, about 50, I learned that that was my third eye breaking open. I was remembering they were turning me on. It was one of the switches, like our chakras are switches, right? And
Yeah.
they turn on, but it seems at first like we're sick. Like I had fibromyalgia, right? And it would move all over my body. I'd be in pain. I didn't realize till later when they explained to me that yeah, it was clearing out density and stuff, and we were turning on the switches, and it's like starting an old car. You have this, there's no gas in the tank, or
Yeah.
you
It's
can't.
all rusty, and you got to get it cranking again. And it's like the first time when I first met Sun Psychic Jean, and the first couple of times I read with Jean, and I was so intimidated because she just, I mean, it just on and off, man. She's,
Yeah, yep, yep.
she goes right in, and I was like, and one day we were talking backstage, and I was like, how do you do that? I mean, you just, I said, I said, I can see it in your eyes when it's like something just clicks, and
Mm-hmm.
suddenly you're in that other atmosphere, and it's like, how does that happen? And she's like, you just got to open the flap. I'm like, what flap? She says, your flap. I said, I don't know what a flap is. And she's like, over your third eye. She says, you got to open the flap so that you can see what's going on and they can talk to you. And then when you're tired, you don't want to deal with them, you close the flap. And I was like, okay, well, how do I open and close the flap? She says, it's different for every person. You got to
Yeah.
figure that out on your own. I'm like, well,
Mm-hmm.
that didn't do me any good. But after a while, I started getting it. Now, I still have trouble controlling my flap, but I'm getting there a little at a time.
Well, with
Um,
mine, mine, I had a bunch of them, and I was like, oh, I can't talk to 10, 15 people.
yeah,
I want to talk to me. I want to talk to my higher self only. So that's who I first met. And not that I didn't want to hear what everybody had to say, but my brain couldn't handle all of that. So I have a team, and this is what when I give people readings, I suggest to them to connect better with your higher self. Talk to name your team. I named my team Sparkly, and that's not for them; it's for us because
right.
we like the relationship thing. And I'll say, Sparkly, I just want to know I want you to gather all the information and then give it to me in the shortest version possible. I don't have any patience at all. Everything goes
Yeah,
real fast in my head. And and they're laughing at me because they're like, yeah, that's us, but that's what I did. And at first I thought, well, I got to shut it off and I'm going to put it on. And I hear, this is you. You don't ever really shut it off. You don't ever really have to turn it on. In fact, that you turned it on, it's just going to open and open and open and open. And they were just showing me like a lotus flower just now, like
yeah,
boom, 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 like that. And that's really how I live. I live like right there, right now. And anything, if I'm like asking questions in my head and I can't get like a clear answer, I just grab my pendulum and I'm like, okay, let's let me ask
yeah.
a
A
bunch
lot
of
of times I'll grab my pendulum and just say, okay, just show me.
yeah.
It's like the first time I saw the picture that are my guides. It was a watercolor done on one of the reservations. They're
Oh,
in Arizona. It's Native American art. And I saw the picture and I literally heard, like clear as a bell in my head, we're your guides.
yeah.
I didn't know what that meant. I was just like, okay, but I didn't know what that meant. And it took several years. And then eventually I got to the point where I was like, okay, well, what do I call you? What is your name? And they laughed and said, you can't pronounce it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's what they
And so I said, okay, well, I'm going to call you Tom, Dick, and Harry until you tell me your name. And so they're Tom, Dick, and Harry, and they seem to be okay with that.
Oh, I love that. That is
Yeah.
so cool. Yeah, they said to me, "We don't
They
care
don't
what you
care.
call it. You call
Yeah.
us whatever you want."
Why struggle over something you can't pronounce
That's right.
when it's easier to just say Tom, Dick, and Harry?
I
Okay.
love that. I love how you did it like that. That's so
Um,
cool.
but and it's like the picture. My mother had it framed, matted and framed for me. It sits on above my bed. It's the first thing I see in the morning, the last thing I see at night is the picture of my guides. And
Oh,
so it's that physical reminder of, I guess you could say, my awakening
yeah,
when I finally
yeah,
started allowing that door to open back up and then
yeah.
literally stepped out and said, "We're your guides."
And it's so
Like,
cool. I mean, I could.
what the hell does that mean? And who's
I
talking
know.
to me?
But
Um,
isn't it cool? I mean, I would never want
yes,
it any other way again. I can't. And the thing is, that well, to me, I say it's sad. After learning more about it, they're like, when I would ask all these questions with them, we're born. We're with you from the moment you're born. We're here to guide you through this density because this is a very dense place. But
yeah,
most people are told if you hear voices, you're crazy, so they shut it down, and
right.
we can't come in
Yeah, I mean, I
until
remember talking to
day.
the voices when I was 4,
Me too.
and people
Well,
would say, "Who you talking to?" And I'd say, "God."
that's right.
And they'd be like, "Okay." And I mean, I don't know, because all the women in my family have the gift, as they called it. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if they heard the voices or not, and they just played along, or if they knew that I was really hearing voices and I wasn't crazy. But I mean, when I was a little bit older, my mother acknowledged, "Oh, okay, you got it too."
Mm, that's nice
Never
because I was
explained it.
told
She never
I was.
explained it. We never talked about it. Never explained it.
And it's something you really can't explain, right? But
No.
I was terrified because I saw the adults around me and I saw how everybody lied and everything was shady and things like that. And I'm not saying
Yeah.
like my mom wasn't a liar, I wasn't saying that, but she was too busy, so I couldn't go to her and go, hey, um, I just kept it to myself because I saw what telling the truth did as a kid. Got me in a
Yeah.
lot of trouble. I was always in trouble for pointing
Right.
shit
Yeah.
out.
You learned to shut it down because you
Yeah.
got laughed at or picked on or got in
Hmm.
trouble or got
Hmm.
accused of being a liar or, oh, yeah, she's great at making up things.
Hmm.
It's like,
Yep.
I'm not making up anything. That's what they said, but nobody believes that, you know.
Right.
Um,
Now the
so
kids, oh my God, they're coming in and they're so
they're
downloaded.
coming in hot, man. They're like,
Oh
let's do
man,
it. Yeah, so
yeah.
it's amazing to be around them when they're really up and running. It's like, whoo, blowing
And
my
that's
socks off.
That's a
And
good point too, Sherry, because when you're around them, anybody else is anybody who's connected, we all are, right? But especially the kids who are like they don't even know. It is like this is where frequency comes in. Your
yeah,
frequency lights up, their frequency lights up. It exchanges information. I mean, it's so fast. It happens all the time when we're in the store. You'll come home and you'll say, oh God, I feel so tired or heavy or I don't feel right. Like something could have attached to you on the way on in the store. And not that it's going to harm you, but it does. It drains you, right? So it's good to know about those things. So I'm a big proponent of cleaning your energy, carrying
right.
crystals, burning sage, putting salt on the doorways, blowing cinnamon through the door, especially on new moon
Yeah,
and full moon. So I did that. I did that all day yesterday. Did a little ceremony, but it is so important because we are a frequency, and even just doing this, clearing out the energies around you, stuff like that. Just keep that in mind. If you're starting to feel, because I used to not understand that, I'd be so depressed or I'd feel so horrible, and I just always thought it was me. I thought I was
I
just
like what old Windwalker said that
horrible.
my mom worked at the state hospitals
Oh,
before they shut them down. She said several times, "How can I tell them the voices they hear aren't there when I hear them myself?"
oh man. Mm,
Exactly. I mean, and
this is
so,
mm,
I mean, how many of our generation and older were seriously damaged
no,
because we were so suppressed or treated like we were crazy or
Right.
given drugs to mute out the noises. I've had people tell me, "Oh, you shouldn't take pain medication before you do a reading." I'm like, "Why?" "Oh, well, that'll cut off the voices." I said, "No."
Mm,
I said, "It's
okay.
the opposite effect. It
Yeah,
shuts down the pain so I can focus on the voices."
exactly.
I
Exactly.
said, "Now maybe it's opposite for you, but that's how it works for me." So,
Right. We
um,
don't. Then that's another thing. Like I can't. I refuse to tell people. Oh, you got to do it like this. Like that's
right.
what works
Yeah.
for you. Works for you. What works for me works for me. And that as long as I'm not hurting anybody or you're not hurting anybody, I don't. But whatever you got to do to get through the day, this is not an easy place to be in. And as you
No.
were saying that a minute ago about when they would drug people, they would give women lobotomies for having voices. I mean, there was something in me as a little kid. I knew they. I didn't know anything about mental hospitals. I didn't know, any, but I think I was in one prior to because I would say they're going to put me on the seventh floor and shut me up if they hear what I
Yeah.
and
That's
I
why
was
I never
scared.
talked about it as a kid or as a teenager or even as a young adult because it was like
Right.
people are gonna lock me up. I
Yeah.
mean, they're gonna think there's something seriously wrong with me. So
Mhm.
you just
Mm.
pretend not to hear it, you know.
We come
Um,
a long way. We come a long way.
yes, we've come a long way, thank goodness. And still got a long way to go. So,
Well,
well,
we're
Valerie,
liberating. We're being liberated right now. This is that
yeah, one day at a time, one day at a
yeah.
time. We've been here for an hour and a half, darling. I don't
Oh,
want to wear
geez.
you out.
I'm sitting here and
I'm
talk.
sitting there going, no wonder I gotta pee. We've been here an hour and a half.
Oh man, thanks for having me. I love
You're
talking to
welcome.
you. I hope everybody enjoyed our conversation. I'm trying to keep up on everybody.
Yeah, I glance over in the chat and
Yeah,
I'll see a couple of conversations and try to answer, and then I get back off over into talking with you, and then next thing
yeah.
I know, a whole slew of stuff goes by. I'm gonna have to go back and reread it later.
I
Um,
love everybody because everybody got such. I mean, we all have these with personal experiences and what happened to us, right? And like Maureen saying, Freud, he destroyed so many lives with all the stuff he did to
yeah,
people, you know.
yeah,
But here we are, and we're together, and we're going into the new era. But these next couple months, we're closing down. Just allow yourself to be, and dream big. Don't cut yourself short if you can help.
exactly, exactly. And we are all gonna deal with it our own way. I mean,
Yeah, we are.
some people are maybe gonna freak out because they don't understand it. They can't their brain just can't process it,
Right.
and they go crazy with it, and then hopefully for the rest of us, it's a matter of. I think that's what's so good about what we do now online and the chat being so interactive is because we can talk about it and everybody's like, yeah, I do that too, and oh
Yeah.
yeah, do you do this? I do that. It's
Yeah.
amazing, it gives everybody a chance to voice what they're feeling. So,
Yeah. And feel safe with it. Feel safe
yeah,
sharing it with each
yeah,
other. You
exactly,
know,
exactly.
important.
Well, darling, I'm going to let you
Okay.
go and we will get in touch after the holidays and
Yeah.
get something set up for January. And when is Diana having her surgery? I know it got postponed,
It
right?
got postponed, but her son came in to help her with the surgery, but she said they're just going to hang out. She's not going to have her surgery probably till the end of January.
Okay.
Um, and to me, I mean, this is just me. I felt like that was divine timing. This was a lot of energy, like jolty energy, and I feel, everything's
Yeah.
in divine
It'll be
timing.
better to wait. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's gonna be good though. She's enjoying
Oh, yeah.
her family.
Oh, yeah. She got her baby with her. So
Yeah.
that's it. That's it. So, all right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. I tried to keep up with y'all. I wasn't really good at it, but I tried anyway. I'll be
Excellent.
back at 10 o'clock for the slumber party. Um, as y'all know, that's anything goes Ramon will be with me tonight. So,
Oh,
naughty
wow.
or nice, you get to pick what kind of card you want. Um,
Oh, cool.
anytime you stay up late, you ever want to join me on the Saturday? Every Saturday night, I do a slumber party at
Oh,
10
cool. I
o'clock
didn't.
Central, and we have naughty cards and nice cards, which are like oracle cards. And so we
Yeah.
do 1 to 2 card pulls for everybody, and they tell us if they want a naughty card or a nice card, and that's what they
Oh,
get. And so we get some that's like dealer's choice. It's like, okay, that means you're getting a naughty card. So, I've got quite a collection of naughty cards now. I mean, they're coming out the wazoo, but um, every time I come across a new deck, it's like, oh, I got to get that one. Uh,
yeah, the decks are hard. There's a deck addiction for sure.
oh
Boy.
God, I'm running out of room to put the damn things. I've got they're like stacked and piled and 2 and 3 deep on the bookshelf, each shelf in the bookshelf.
Oh man, but I bet it's a nice collection. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I can pretty much find a deck of cards for just about any topic if I have time to think about it
Yeah, that's
and
cool.
go look at it. So, all right, y'all. Y'all have a great night. We will see you later. Come back at 10 o'clock if you're still awake. Time for the slumber party. And I gotta go to the bathroom now. So I'm gonna say goodbye.
Bye guys, we love you.
Bye, guys. Mwah.